Buenos días a todos y todas. Soy Janet Pearson y tengo el honor de servir como presidenta de Pangea. Primero, quiero dar la bienvenida a nuestras distinguidas invitadas de MUSOR. Es un honor tenerlas aquí con nosotros y hoy esperamos escuchar y aprender de ustedes y fortalecer nuestra asociación. And good morning to all members and friends that are here in the United States. We are so glad that you've joined us for this wonderful event. At Pangea, we believe in the power of relationships and the possibilities for change that are created through those connections. And that's why we're so pleased to hold this event. It's a special opportunity to learn from and connect with MUSOR, one of our amazing partners. So let's start by introducing our speakers and we'll get going with this event. Susan, I'll turn it over to you now.
Okay, thank you, Janet. It's a great pleasure to lead the Latin America part of Pangea, which has really grown this past year. And to see so many members present today. One of our biggest pleasures is collaborating with our outstanding partner, grantee partners, and learning from them, seeing the world, in this case, Mexico, and its problems through their eyes, unfiltered. The COVID virus has made Pangea's traditional person-to-person direct interactions, such as our wonderful site visits, very challenging. But with technology such as Zoom, we're trying to make up for our lack of in-person activities and even be more inclusive and closer in touch. Today's presentation is an example. MUSOR is one of our newest partners. This is their second year with Pangea. I'm sure you've seen the street protests by Mexican women on the news. MUSOR's current project is very timely to address these issues by working toward a culture of peace, by challenging traditional gender mindsets and their effects on girls and women. Their original work plan heavily focused on in-person workshops and so on, some of which we saw on our site visit this past year, has been challenged by the quarantine conditions imposed by the coronavirus. But as you will see from the presentation, the MUSOR women are very creative. 4 women are present with us today: Ofelia, Delne, and Susana from Mexico City, and Dr. Francisca Ramirez, the project lead in Oaxaca. Ofelia and Delne will present in English, and then all 4 will join us after the presentation and our English Q&A for an informal chat in Spanish. Bienvenidas, welcome, Ofelia and Delne. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me introduce the MUSOR teams. The MUSOR team is let me introduce myself. I'm Ofelia Aguilar, is the general coordinator of this project. Francisca Ramirez, she's a local coordinator, and Susan Rodriguez, pedagogical strategy, and Dene, communication strategy responsibility. I want to let opportunity the macro workers to introduce myself. Please, Francisca, can you introduce, please? ¿Te puedes presentar, Francisca?
Sí, claro. Hola, buen día a todas y todos. Bueno, soy Francisca Ramírez Castro, soy la coordinadora local aquí en el estado de Oaxaca, de MUSOR, y bueno, llevo 28 años aproximadamente dedicándome a pues trabajar con mujeres y jóvenes sobre salud sexual y reproductiva. Mucho gusto, gracias.
Please, Susan. Susan Rodriguez.
Good morning. My name is Susana Rodriguez. I am a pedagogue and I am very glad to be participating as an associate of MUSOR, providing educative support and keeping register of this project.
Delne, please.
Hello everybody. First of all, I want to introduce the introduction of Francisca. She's our Oaxaca's local coordinator here in MUSOR. She has worked in several projects focus on the care of women and the promotion of sexual and reproductive health, rights and health. And I am Delne Arriaga. I am a communication director here in MUSOR, and I am supporting the communication and digital strategy in this project. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Okay, well, pues the first of all, to introduce what is the situation in Mexico.
Okay, I want to share with you first of all the essence of MUSOR. MUSOR, we are the Association for a Social Inclusion of Women and Their Surrounding. We are a non-profit organization based here in Mexico City. We are focused on improving the quality of life of women. Our purpose is to promote social progress, focus on the care of vulnerable women and the need of their social environment, and in this way, improving their living conditions too. As Ofe said, we can share the reality now in Mexico with the COVID, and we will share some data. First of all, well, here in Mexico, on February 27th, the first case of COVID was reported here in Mexico. On March 18th, the first death for COVID was occurred. And until October 30th, last month, 91,289 people had died. You can see here our map of Mexico. In green, you can see Oaxaca, that is the state that we are running our program. And in the point of white point is the district of Jojocotlan. You can focus the geography of our project. Other data in Oaxaca by the COVID is until October 30, 21,122 total cases have been confirmed, and until October 30, 1,656 people had died. As you can see here in Oaxaca, the people are running protocols to be care about the COVID, but also is very relaxed because you can see some few people, they don't have uses masks, for example, and that it's a shame because, for example, in Jojocotlan, that it's the district that we are running our project, there is the second place between 55 districts with more active cases of COVID-19. So the people is very relaxed. The people is not take seriously the protocols of care about the COVID and the contagious. So until October 33rd, 1,349 total cases have been confirmed in this district in Mexico. That is a few of data that we want to share with you.
Well, let me to explain what is our project and how to make the first time and what changes we need to do for the COVID pandemic. The strategic objectives is the MUSOR strategic objective is the promote to the culture of the peace and elimination of discrimination, all the of the violence against the women. This is our strategic objectives. Well, these objectives go together with this project go directly because of the next is the name. Can you please the Oaxaca's project, Oaxaca's pilot project is the names our project is an intervention of for the construction of the culture of the peace. The target this project is a student the population of the 4th secondary school in the place in the district of the Santa Cruz, Jojotlan, Oaxaca. Let me explain more or less about this, how to strategic go together with the pilot project. The objective of this project is the construction, the gender belief and prejudice of the men. And we think we need to sensitize male community because many believe about the role the masculinity affect directly with the violence against the women. The next for the achievement construction of the culture of the peace, we need the first time the construction that believe about the gender prejudice and believe it's about the women around the behavior male. For the next is that we MUSOR thinking is we work the two topics, the construction, the belief, the prejudice and the men, and construction, the culture peace, they go together for improve the quality of the woman. This is our dream for our objective in the MUSOR objectives. For this project now, we have now to start the preliminary activities. The first activities, we need to establish contact with the school in the authorities. When our plans, the project to start in the April 2020, but the pandemic no was possible to start in this time. For this, in this time, the April to today, is the MUSOR thinking what is the for to start or to make this project. Well, because maybe you can see it in the TV, in the media, the situation in Mexico is very difficult. Is our data about the COVID very high, and particular in Mexico City and the Oaxaca City, in particular in Jojotlan. Well, is the first one is our plan in the project plan is these activities, all activities to make face to face, but with the pandemic with COVID, we need to start the virtual sessions, and throughout the virtual session and cell phone tools, we have to take contact with the authorities, the local authorities and the principal schools. And this moment, we have contact and the MUSOR to showing the project that all the school principal has the resume of the project. We have the virtual session to show the presentation of the project, and in this activity, MUSOR to research about how the conditions are in each school, because in different schools there are different conditions. It's possible to design strategies. It's the same for all the schools. The next, well, the first activities, these activities, the preliminary activities to make and continue MUSOR has. But the next activity is to make a baseline study. Do you remember the mention is this project is the pilot project. It's like the operation operation research project, because MUSOR has in our plan is the systematize all experience for HATS the way for the transfer this learning in each project. The activities, the baseline is easy, but we had agreement with the Population Council. Do you know when Population Council is an NGO, international NGO, and she has the focus that this NGO is the research, the very important research about the sexual and reproductive health. And in this moment, this organization to take the violence is like the topic's work. Well, is the Population Council, the Mexico office, to share your questionnaire for the violence, and we have the big opportunity because this questionnaire is a good is a high level. The research is for can you see me? Oh no.
It's okay, Ophelia. The slides just
Mi
coming back.
pantalla, pero let me one moment. I have continued. I don't know what happened in my computer because I can see the presentation.
You can't see it? We can see the baseline study slide, Ophelia.
Okay. No sé. No. Okay. Well, you can see the presentation.
Yes, it's good. You can keep going.
Okay, I no can see, but I have the other computer. We can see this presentation. We can continue the presentation. I don't know what happened in this computer. Well, is the second activity is the baseline. The baseline, the target is the men teenagers and men teachers and men parents. The focus of this project is only work with the male. You remember the saying is MUSOR believe is we work together, we work with the men. Is possible to improve the quality, the life of the women. It's possible to change the behavior, the violence behavior from the men. The third activity is to make the workshop of throughout the digital campaign. Our objective this objective to raise awareness and general critical knowledge about the relationship between in the masculinity and violence. The topics for this workshop is the mandates of the masculinity, gender, male privilege, and with the relationship with the violence against the woman. This picture are the last project. In the last project, do you remember is the workshop throughout the student, the focus was students, male and women, parents, male and women, and teachers, male and women. And the last topic, this project was introduce the reproductive and sexual and reproductive rights and sexuality education for the technique for the prevent pregnancy in adolescents. For this project at this moment, we have that throughout the excellent work, the Francisca doctor, now we have the trust for the work, this kind of topics, because no is easy work that controversial topics like the questionnaire, the question about the gender roles, the traditional gender roles. Sometimes in the traditional society, the people ask, why to me, tell me that's about the how is the best behavior with my couple. In our experience for a long time, the women tell us when they end the workshop of the human rights and the sexual and reproductive rights, the women tell me, Ian is good, I know when my rights, but it's much better if my husband and my couple knowing that if the husband and couple or male knowing our rights, it's better for us. Is for MUSOR is the commitment with the women response at this requirement, this petition for changes in the women's lives in the Mexico. For MUSOR is a good opportunity, is a small project, but is very important for the introduce these changes in the community, in the schools, in the all the community. We went to throughout the Pangea support is a good opportunity for in growth our organization and to contribute and this minority the violence in Mexico. Well, this our the dream, but after the in the front the COVID pandemic, MUSOR, we need to take a little research in the schools and to make a strategy adapted at each school. Well, is after the results, this meeting and the meeting, the MUSOR and meetings and session and virtual session with the principal school to make decision the transform this project in the digital adaptation.
Okay, let me share with you very quickly the digital adaptation and why we are choose that tool. Well, we are working in 4 schools, as we said. The first of all is Rufino Tamayo School, that as you can see, the schools are now closed. And we have to do a questionnaire to know how the people, how the authorities, how the parents, and how the students have been communicating with the school program. So we found that teachers and students have different media tools to share information and communicate each other. This is the other school, Alfonso Caso schools. As you can see, the tools change. La Minería school is other school. And for example, here, there are few tools to communicate each other. And finally, La Soledad School, that it's the school that have leftist communicating media. But we can see the technology that all of them share is the WhatsApp strategy. So we choose this media to connect with the three of our targets. And the strategy is simple. First of all, we have to do a database for all the people that we have to work. Then create the message, create the content about the workshops, then post that message in a specific schedule and frequency to be to don't be done in order to not be don't have a lot of message, just the strategies to keep the people interesting and respond of our schedule and our objectives. That's all about the project.
Did you have any question and commentary?
Great. Thank you so much, Ophelia and Delne. So now we're going to do some questions. So everyone, if you have a question, what you can do is you can type the question into the chat, or you can just type the word question or stack into the chat, and that's how we can kind of organize the order. I know Betsy has a couple questions to start us off, but before we get to those, Delne, I was wondering if you can walk through the communication tools again and tell us what each of the symbols mean. So there was the WhatsApp symbol, but then just in case people don't know,
yes, of course. For example, here in the first one, we did study and asked the teachers how is the way that they communicated. For example, here in the personal tools that they have are only the mobile phones. And the school, the teachers have in the school a computer and Wi-Fi service. But now, because the schools are closed, they don't have these tools with them. So they just have to can't use the mobile service, for example. And for the communication, they usually use WhatsApp, Google Meet, and Zoom, for example. But it is a case of Rufino Tamayo School that have good level or good structure, economic structure. So it's more easy for them to use that kind of technology because it's not the same case in other schools. And for example, here with the students in the personal, they have a mobile with internet service that is the common way to communicate and do the program, the scholarship program, for example, the government program school. And in the schools, they have computer and internet, and the main communication media is WhatsApp. So, for example, here in Rufino Tamayo, that is the case. Alfonso Caso changed that study. La Minería School changed the results of the study. And finally, in La Soledad. And here in La Soledad, there is the most
Poor, the poor people, the marginal people.
Yes, it's a place that there are few resources. So they don't have, for example, in the school, they don't have any technology or any digital tools. So in the personal, just the teachers have few, the students that don't have cell phones. So but they can communicate by WhatsApp using, for example, the phone for their parents or family in the home.
Thank you.
Well, hello, everybody. This is just a wonderful presentation. So interesting and well organized. And now I'm understanding the strategy a lot better that you're using. My question is, I'm understanding that you use WhatsApp in all 4 schools. Do you see a difference in the schools that have fewer resources like La Soledad? Do they respond differently, or are they receiving as much benefit as a school with more resources?
Well, is very interesting question, because the Soledad and the Soledad is the marginal area. They don't have resources, the technologies resources and basic resources for the life. Is in this school there are a good commitment. The school principal, he support all this kind of project, maybe because he see the situation, the students in the school students. In the Alfonso Caso, is the federal school. This school has a federal budget, has good resources. The matricular, the numbers of students in this school is like the 800 something students. It's a big school. They have technologies, and this school, the problem is the teachers union. The teacher union no support this kind of situation, but it's very interesting. The mothers has the tech situation, and the mothers control the homeworks and the class throughout the WhatsApp. It's different situation, different kind of support, but I think is the most important. The resources is very important, but the most important is the commitment people with us, the project, with us MUSOR, or with the project. Is that the principal don't interested in the project. Is difficult to introduce kind of project, introduce adaptation, introduce whatever activity. But in this moment, we have the more support is the 2 principal, the more poor school and the more the better school in the like the Alfonso Caso, that has the resources and they has or good organization from the parents. And this for me is very impressive. The opposite situation is got together interesting in this kind of project.
I think we should go to the questions in the chat now. Okay, from Janet. MUSOR's investment in measurement and valuation is impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing their impact and outcome reports. Playmakers Theater in Kenya also has a strong evaluation component. Oh, this isn't a question, this is a comment, but that's good.
But that's a good segue. So a little bit further up, we actually have a question from Michael of Playmakers Theater, who's here. Michael asked, I see your target is men in supporting women's empowerment. How do you respond? How do they respond to this, the men? And are you facing any significant challenges with accessing men in the program?
Well, it's the, can you repeat the question, the last part?
It's in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yep. So how
Es que
How
I
do you-
don't can chat, no puedo, I can,
Ah.
the chat,
Te
sorry.
digo la pregunta, Ofe, es, nosotros están viendo que nosotros estamos trabajando con el sector de hombres, que cómo responden los hombres a y si hay algún como reto acerca de trabajar con hombres en el programa. ¿Cómo responden ellos al programa, los hombres?
Well, I have the previous experience about the work with the male, but for me it is more surprise for me because the male has more information than the women. The women for the different kind of project, knowing the body, knowing the rights, and now knowing the different kind knowledge. But the male, I think is the male don't know interesting for this kind of project. For example, it's more easy to find the women receive the talking about the violence, the gender, and the sexual education, but the male never has opportunity to take the participation in this kind of session, the session education. Is for me the response the male is very good. No, it is easy to change, but I think is the end the session, go to home, asking the himself. No, is true, is the kind activity of this behavior is good for my family, for my couple, for my children. In things is is like they put the first storm in the different kind of the construction in the society. For the big challenge is how to introduce introduce with this kind the group. For example, is this maybe there's some male, some more violence, but is possible to in now the male with this kind of session thinking is the loss, the privilege, but the challenge is how this kind of privilege go together with different violence for the male. It's in many male never question what is the price for the masculinity role, traditional masculinity role. For example, what is the price the male no can express your feelings, don't can express your love, don't can you express your affairs. This is the price for the male. In our challenge is change this thinking for in the future to start change your behavior.
Good. Betsy, next question.
Okay, this is, Michael, yes, we answered your question from Lorraine. What is the size of a distrito and how many are in Mexico? And why did you choose Oaxaca?
Wow. Oaxaca is the state. It's very interesting because it's the representative of the Mexican culture. There are in the Oaxaca State inside, there are many cultures, and MUSOR has an opportunity to go to the Oaxaca because in the past, the MUSOR team worked in Oaxaca State. Now is for us is the opportunity to back to the Oaxaca when different kinds the project like the war in the focus in the municipality Jojocotlan district, because municipality district is like the Iztapalapa in Mexico City. MUSOR from in the Iztapalapa city, Jojocotlan, the characteristic Jojocotlan is the same the Iztapalapa. Let me this one. The first one is the Iztapalapa is the municipality with the high density. Jojocotlan in Oaxaca State is the same. Is the second place after the Oaxaca City with high density. The other data is the Iztapalapa received many people from the migrants people all the country. In Jojocotlan, Oaxaca has received the migrants all the state. Is that the reason for the interest in the war in Oaxaca, and then we have the opportunity the Francisca, he was co-working in other organization, and now Francisca continue has good relationship with different kind of authorities. Francisca is very very knowledge for the authorities, and he has experience in the work in the sexual and reproductive health topics and sexual rights.
Next question. Is there a way to incentivize principals or the union to support the project? You talked about the union, I think, in Rufino Tamayo School.
Yeah.
For example, if MUSOR had money or computers, could MUSOR offer something to a school if it successfully implemented a project?
Well, the way for no is easy, because is for example, is the situation in the last project is when the first time La Dr. Francisca got to the principal school, no was easy to enter in the school, because the principal tell the Francisca is in the past different kind of NGOs to promise the different kind of support, and then is the selling the books, a computer is the principal, and the include the union, not union, the families team, the
Parents group.
Parents association, parents association of the school is tell us is don't like the work with NGOs, because sometimes only are for the selling some products. Was difficult the first time to get the trust the people. The excellent words to Francisca in this school was the key for now. The MUSOR is an organization, trust organization in this school. Well, this is the principal. the principal challenge is has the trust the principal school. The union teacher is complicated because across different interests. One is the political interest, other one's economic interest. Is the across different situations is difficult for the MUSOR handle this situation, but as the MUSOR works in this school is little by little to get the trust, the teachers and principal, include the parents.
Okay. So Ophelia, you're targeting, this is from Linda. Are you also targeting teachers and parents to educate on women's rights and gender equity? Or just the young people?
Okay. So what is the question?
Are you focusing on teachers and parents in addition to young women on educating them on women's rights and gender equity?
Yeah, for this project, we went to focus only the males, but maybe I don't know what happened with the project, because in the first plan, when the plan was the face-to-face, Francisca and the MUSOR team thinking is maybe we need to coordinate some activities for the women's studies, women students and women parents and women teachers. But because is our intervention is the plan is in the set schedule. Now maybe it's more easy to separate women of the male, because it's the convocatoria. Our plan is it will be throughout the send the messages, or is the convocatoria throughout the principal schools. I don't know if it's possible to include the women in this project, but is necessary. MUSOR don't have close for the offer this kind the session for the women too.
Are there any other questions?
I was going to say, I think we have time for one more question or so before we do a wrap up and then switch to the some Spanish Q&A and conversation.
Well, I'll ask one more. Ophelia, is it important when you work with young men that you have a male role model or teacher present, or can you as women teach the young men?
Can you repeat that question, please?
When you work with young men, is it important to have a male teacher or role model present?
Yeah. Well, it depends what teacher is, because if the teacher is the belief role, the masculine is traditional, is no model. It depends. For us, it's very important work with the teachers group, because throughout the dynamics in the group, it's possible to look what kind they believe the behavior the teacher has. For example, well, our culture is very patriarchal. It includes the women has some behavior patriarchal, while is the teachers maybe is the same behavior. Well, I don't know, some teacher is a good model, but other teachers no are the good model. It includes inside the classroom, there are the different, the teacher has the different activities for the women, for the girls and boys. It depends what teacher's role or attitude or behavior has this teacher. It's very interesting, the results. Maybe when they end this project, it's a glad to share this result with you.
Thank you very much, Ophelia, and Delne, and all of the MUSOR ladies. It's been a great presentation. We're now going to switch to Spanish because some of us think we speak Spanish and we want to inflict it on you. We want to ask you some questions in Spanish and share some thoughts. So anyone who wants to sit in is welcome to do that. Francisca y Susana, ahora vamos a cambiar al español para que puedan participar ustedes. Tenemos muchas preguntas, les agradecemos su paciencia y quiero ver si algún miembro de Pangea tiene alguna pregunta para quizás Francisca o para Susana o cualquiera. ¿Quién tiene una pregunta?
And I think, well, one last thing too, I just want to, I know people are dropping off now, but before everybody that doesn't speak Spanish goes, we want to thank everybody for coming this morning for the presentation. I'm going to stop recording now, but we'll share that when we get it up on YouTube. So you're welcome to pass that on to anybody else that you think might be interested. But yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for the folks that put this together and for the presenters from MUSOR and everybody for attending.
Thank you. Okay, we echo Nick.